Could Clint Barton be the Taskmaster in the upcoming Black Widow movie? That is the headline and question I'll be pondering on today's MBE Heroes. And this one is coming in from the Metro, obviously the world-renowned newspaper from the UK. Hint, hint, wink, wink, sarcasm alert. But look, they've amassed a whole array of theories, fan opinions of the new Black Widow teaser trailer, which of course dropped just less than a day ago now. I have reacted to it, I've just not had a chance to put it up on obviously the old YouTube channel yet. I'm doing my theories and digging into potential character identities before I do that. And yeah, as I did allude to, a lot of people have drawn conclusions that perhaps Clint Barton could be the Taskmaster villainous character in this movie. And the reason they're saying that is purely because obviously this opens up very much in Budapest, and we see the villainous Taskmaster popping up in what appears to be Budapest as well. Very distinctive, sort of medieval sort of a city, I'd like to say. And there's a lot of people already got their anticipatory juices wetting, their theoretical juices wetting as well, try to come to terms with who this could be. And a lot think that it could be Clint, and this is also because of the remarks between the Black Widow and Hawkeye back in the original Avengers movie, where they allude to some event happening at Budapest, and Clint Barton replies with, you have a very different memory of what happened in Budapest. And they are thinking that this could be perhaps an undercover Hawkeye playing the Taskmaster or being the Taskmaster, and then revealing later on his true identity and them having a good laugh about it afterwards. Now, do I think this is the case? No, I don't. And the reason I don't think it's the case, and a lot of people have come out and debunked it with this very same logic, is because the Taskmaster is shooting with his right hand, or I should say shooting with his left hand, and he's pulling the bow with his right hand. Clint Barton, aka Hawkeye, uses his left hand to pull the bow and his right hand to hold the bow, so it can't be the same person. But look, that doesn't rule out that there is indeed going to be a little payoff in terms of Easter eggs and fan service in this movie between Clint Barton and Natasha Romanoff. I think we will see some payoff. The fact that they are going out their way to show us Budapest, and the fact that this Taskmaster character has almost photo reactions, and he has that cool mimicking ability. We know he can take the skills and abilities from enemies who he faces against. I think he's seen Clint Barton. I think he's taken his propensity with a bow. So therefore, I do think that even though it isn't Clint Barton Taskmaster, I think that we will see Clint Barton in this movie. I think I've got maybe a wager on how many times I can say Clint Barton in this show. I think I'm on about 20 already. But no, I don't think it is. But it's a cool little theory, and again, it just shows you the coolness of fans of the MCU, fans of any big franchise in general. What makes it a real strong and cohesive fan sort of a base is the fact that we do like to theorise over different things. Who could be this character? Who could be that character? What could be the rationale behind their motives and whatnot? That's what makes fandom chug along and be a nice, wide, diverse teaming pool that it is 9 times out of 10. Look, I'm gibbering absolute nonsense here. I don't feel like it is Clint Barton, but I feel like he's a very intriguing character, this Taskmaster guy. I feel that he may well be a sort of decoy in this movie, though. I think even though he's probably a reasonable villain in his own right, probably fitting for a non-superhero level character like Black Widow, I think that there's going to be a nice little double bluff in there. I think the Rachel Weisz character does eventually turn into a villain in her own right at some point down the road, and I feel we'll see that playing out. The fact that they're hitting home with the whole family theme, family back together again, it feels like a slightly fractured family. We've got Red Guardian in there, we've got the Florence Pugh character who also turns into Black Widow at some point, so there could be a little door being left ajar for her to potentially come in and play Black Widow in the absence of Scarlett Johansson's character. But I think Rachel Weisz could be the underlying undercurrent villain in this movie. I think that she will perhaps be playing the goody two shoes, holding this fake family unit together, and then Taskmaster will be almost like that slimy little bitch in Ant-Man and the Wasp who was trying to grab that briefcase all of the time, but then we had the real villain Ghost moving around in the shadows. I think it'll be a similar setup. It does share a lot of visual elements in the trailers, at least with the likes of Captain Marvel and a few other MCU movies. I like the look of the trailer, as I spoke about in my trailer reaction. I'm not going to go over old ground here. The fact that we do get to see Thunderbolt Ross in there as well, de-aged, they're using that de-aging technology again. I'm really looking forward to the movie. I can't really speak highly enough of my excitement for seeing a Black Widow movie. I think Scarlett Johansson fully deserves it, and whether or not Clint Barton is the villain or not, done up, maybe undercover, time will truly tell. I don't think he is, but what's your thoughts on it, guys, if you're watching? And on that note, I'm going to move on because I've not got much more to add to that topic. To the next one, and it's all about David Corenswet. Now, I've never heard of this chap, I will admit. I'm sure there is some people out there who have heard of him. And it's coming in from joebo.com, and they are suggesting that he is the front runner to replace Henry Cavill as Superman. They are saying that obviously he has expressed an interest in portraying the character in the fairly recent past, but it's a pie-in-the-sky ambition to play Superman. Now, look, we've seen the likes of Tom Holland speak about their ambitions of playing Spider-Man and whatnot, how it would be their career-defining role if they could get into it. And look, it was shown as being a bit of a nonsense at the time, and then it ultimately came into fruition. He actually became, obviously, Peter Parker and Spider-Man, and I feel like this could be another situation where we could maybe see this chap coming in and portraying Superman. Now, my personal opinion is, and it hasn't changed in the last week or so, that I would prefer Henry Cavill to maybe play the character a few more times. I feel like there is unfinished business between him and obviously Kal-El himself, and I feel like if there's any way for him to come into this character and maintain his role once again, then that's something I'd like to see perhaps for at least one more Man of Steel movie, because I really have enjoyed Henry Cavill's portrayals. In the main, he nearly saved Justice League for me when that reawakening scene happened and he wrecked the shop. But if he can't portray the character, my personal preference would still be a Michael B. Jordan doing something slightly different, giving us a different variation if you like, on the character, over maybe perhaps someone who looks like Henry Cavill light, who's a poor man's version of Henry Cavill. Now, I've not seen the guy as an actor, I may be getting it completely wrong. He may be a fantastically talented young chap, certainly got the jawline for it, he's got the hairline for it, he's got those piercing blue eyes, so look, he's got the aesthetics. He's not very buff, he's got about 3 years to put some weight on, though by all accounts this movie won't be happening for another 4 years, so 3-4 years, so there's time there. But my personal preference would be Henry Cavill, and if not him, then Michael B. Jordan rejuvenating the character and doing something different, because we did hear that Warner Brother officials and DC and whatnot were looking to try and find a way for this character to become more relevant in today's society. They weren't happy with the portrayal of the character before, Lord knows why. I still maintain that Man of Steel is one of the best DC movies produced to date, but they want to make him more relevant to modern audiences, and yeah, I mean, this may be a way to do it, bringing in a younger guy to fit merrily alongside a Robert Pattinson, who is obviously younger and has longevity in portraying the character, and this may be a way of doing it. They may be able to bring him in, he'll add his own zest to it and do something different, I don't know. Certainly he wishes, Corenswet that is, to see a more upbeat throwback version of Superman, more in line with what we've seen with Christopher Reeves. That's one thing I would say about Henry Cavill. He was a little bit more solemn, a little dark and brooding, but I liked that, and I liked his version of the character. But look, time will truly tell whether David Corenswet does come in to play the character or not. I have not got a oracle on me, a crystal ball, so I can't say for sure, but whoever gets the role, if Henry Cavill isn't taken on, I'm sure DC will knock the ball out of the park. If the Batman's anything to go by, they certainly know how to cast. That's one thing I've always maintained before I move on. Henry Cavill, well cast. Ben Affleck, well cast. Gal Gadot, not the most amazing actress in the world, but really well cast for Wonder Woman. They brought in Chris Pine as this sort of a mentor figure for her. And then you've got Ezra Miller, a fantastic actor playing Flash. You've got Jason Momoa playing Aquaman. So they've managed to really cast the characters very well. It's just been the storytelling and overall creative direction that's let them down. But look, guys, I'm going to move on because I've not got much time left. I'm actually trying to find out how long I have left to the very next topic, and it is WandaVision and Eternals rumours. Now, it's actually not Eternals rumours. I've talked absolute nonsense here. It's more about WandaVision. This is a sort of a multi-story article that we're getting from comicbookmovie.com, but I'm focusing in more on the WandaVision element of it. And they are saying that the villainous Nightmare could very well be doing double duty. He is, of course, widely predicted to be the villain in the upcoming Benedict Cumberbatch Doctor Strange 2 Multiverse of Madness, if I can get back my train of thought. And they're saying that he could indeed be coming in to play the villain in WandaVision as well, because, as they do say here, this is primarily going to be taking place in a slightly different dreamlike reality, akin to what you'd see in a sitcom. Now, this also has a wide-ranging implications for a whole variety of different products in the upcoming slate for. As we do know, we've seen Kevin Feige say that you're not going to get the most out of the MCU if you miss these TV shows, which will be popping up on Disney Plus, much to the annoyance of a lot of people. I've seen articles saying, look, I'm not watching 10-hour TV shows just to keep my finger on the pulse for MCU movies. But look, it really does play into this. If you're seeing this character pop up in WandaVision in a TV show for the very first time prior to his appearance in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, then I feel like that's quite a potentially significant moment in terms of changing of mediums. We've seen TV shows becoming more and more prominent, more and more important in recent times, perhaps more so than theatrical feature-length movies. And the fact that we could potentially be seeing Nightmare popping up, he's a very cool guy. He's a very cool villain in terms of aesthetics, in terms of what he brings. And I would really like to see this be the case. Elizabeth Olsen has been fantastic as Scarlet Witch, and I really do feel like she could bring something very, very cool to this, alongside that a magnificent villain like that. And then just seeing that blending over wonderfully into a Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness will be something to behold. We know she's going to be in it. She came on the stage and done a sort of a joint thing with Benedict Cumberbatch. So yeah, I'm intrigued by this. It's a short little topic within a greater article that I thought I would give my thoughts on very briefly. He's such a cool guy, the villain, and just seeing that bleeding over into a TV show and then having it coming into a main theatrical feature-length movie, that's going to be a very cool thing to see how it's handled. Can they maintain the aesthetics? Can they maintain the tone from one setting into another? And just this whole multiverse and different realities and whatnot, it's going to be mind-bending, it's going to be exciting. I can't wait to see Doctor Strange 2 as well, where this horror meets MCU. Cannot wait. And I'm going to move on that though, because I have not much more to add to a topic which is coming in from CBR.com, and it is Robert Pattinson doubles down. Batman is not a superhero. Now, I've put it in the graphic, what makes a superhero, and is Batman one? Now, I have my opinion on it. Robert Pattinson has his opinion on it. He was speaking on Today, and I think he'd said a remark about it not being a superhero before. He was being interviewed by an NBC reporter who asked him, what does it feel like to be a superhero? I'm paraphrasing heavily here, and he says, Batman's not a superhero. It doesn't count. You need to have magical powers to be a superhero. And then he goes on to say, look, I can see he has a cape, so that's semi-superhero-like. But yeah, I find myself agreeing with Robert Pattinson here. I don't feel like Batman is a superhero in the conventional sense. When I think of superheroes, I think of the likes of Superman. I think of the likes of maybe even an Aquaman who has these sort of innate abilities, these godlike abilities. I think of the likes of maybe even a Flash who has superhero abilities. He can run at ungodly speeds. I even think of a Wonder Woman in a DC sense, where she has incredible powers and just cool little things at her disposal. And then you go over to the MCU, and I think more along the lines of a Thor, a Loki, Thanos. These are guys who are demigods and full-on gods. They have godlike abilities. Spider-Man's a superhero. He has been given godlike ability to weave around buildings and whatnot, web slinging. That is a superhero in the traditional sense. Batman was never, for me, a traditional superhero, and that's what always drew me to the character. I always loved that element of this billionaire transversing between mere mortal and mixing it up with these godlike figures, just with sheer brute determination and gadgetry. And that's always something that drew me to the character. That and his double-sided persona, where you have him going out at night and playing one facet of his psyche and then coming back in and playing the clean-cut business version of his psyche. And that was, I do agree with Pattinson. I don't think he is a superhero, and when you look at what makes a superhero, now I know it's probably very subjective, but I don't feel like Batman is. And I don't think that's a downside. I don't think it's a negative. I just feel that he is a very human-like character, very relatable in many ways. He's got a very dark past with losing his parents and whatnot in the manner he did, and he's really came over it. He's managed to beat his demons and become this double-sided figure who has some incredible technology at his whims. And yeah, I agree with Pattinson. I'm liking the fact that he's getting into the character. He feels passionate enough about it to perhaps mix it up a little bit, maybe to the widespread consternation of some of the fandom. And there's nothing wrong with that, and I cannot wait to see Robert Pattinson once again portraying the Batman. And yeah, perhaps even going over to the MCU, you have the obvious connotations with the likes of Iron Man as well. He's very much the MCU version of, obviously, Bruce Wayne, billionaire figure, incredible technology and gadgetry at his whims, but he's not a superhero. So yeah, once again, without repeating myself ad nauseum, I don't think he is a superhero. I agree with Robert Pattinson, and despite having a very nifty looking cape, he's still a very cool guy as well. So I'm going to move on that note, guys, because I am done. I have not much more to add to it. This is very quick fire, these topics tonight, because I am dying on my arse here. I've been out doing Lord knows amount of work today, and I am getting very tired, and I've got perhaps another show to film. So do bear with me if I'm battering through them very quickly, and maybe speaking a little bit quicker as well. It may be difficult to understand me here. If you can, then bear with me. The next topic and the final topic on today's MBE Heroes is all about Avengers Endgame and that incredible finale. How it could have been even more epic than what we already got. And it is essentially pre-concept art for the Avengers Endgame battle finale, if you like. And the only one change is that we have a very, very large Scott Lang Ant-Man being joined with equally large ants. Now, on a personal note, I really enjoyed Scott Lang and his little appearances throughout the MCU. I've really enjoyed the two Ant-Man movies. I love the character, I love the humour he brings, I love Paul Rudd. I'm saying I love a lot. And this would have been an amazing moment for this character, who's been a bit of the butt of the jokes, if you like, throughout his tenureship. He's been slagged, why can't I get wings and things like that. You know, just an engineer who's down his luck, ends up having to do petty thieving. This would have been a great redeeming moment for him to have his equal moment in the limelight, if you like. We got Carol Danvers in there doing her thing before she gets slapped. We got Captain America, Steve Rogers, proving he was indeed worthy. We got Thor getting over his fat shaming and depressive mood and having his moment in the limelight. And of course, the ultimate, we had Tony Stark doing his thing and saving the whole of the universe. This could have been one very cool moment for Scott Lang and for me as a big fan of the character. But ultimately it wasn't to be. It was very cool. Sadly, you can't fit every single creative thing you have in your head into a movie of this scale. Sometimes you have to make drawbacks and cuts. And look, in the end, I think we got a very cool movie, and I don't think anybody could look at Endgame and think there's one thing that I would change up that would make it even better. I mean, this would have made it better. I'm talking crap, but would you make any changes to that incredible ending? I don't think you would. I think it's one of the greatest action sequences in the history of cinema. One of the best half an hours to a movie that last half an hours to a movie that I have ever seen. And I don't think I'd change it up, even though I love Scott Lang. It would have been cool to see, but ultimately it wasn't to be. And again, it's like Star Wars. Why does George keep going back and changing things and putting that are perfect in a sense? That's what this would have been like for me. So in the end, I'm conflicted. I'd have loved to have seen it, but it wasn't to be, and I'm not that butthurt that it wasn't to be. But look, guys, I'm done. I'm giving shit here. What the hell did you make about all of these topics I spoke about? What do you make about the Taskmaster character? Could it be Clint Barton, or could it be someone else? Could it just be Taskmaster? What's your thoughts on the other topics I spoke about? If you've got anything to say at all, you can comment below and let me know what your thoughts are. You can also like the video if you've enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying content like this. And if you do, I'll be back again tomorrow with MBE Movie News.